Well, it turns out Jimmy Kimmel is getting horrible news for Christmas. In fact, it turns out that they have completely destroyed all of their credibility. Not just Jimmy Kimmel, but Stephen Colbert and even Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers have all, according to a new report, completely destroyed their credibility after running for the last 8 years on complete Trump derangement. Their viewership is cratering and the world is tuning out, and they're all in full-blown panic as to what to do, as advertisers are backing out because they just don't have the viewership they do anymore. And in fact, cable TV is being largely replaced by places like Rumble and YouTube and live streams and TikTok, for example, where there's just no more. They're literally like they're just floating rudderless right now. And let's get into all this hilariousness. Speaking of not watching cable TV, you might need a VPN. I have the perfect one for you. It's private internet access. Check this out. Shout out to this video's sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, it's 2024. If you aren't using a VPN yet, you're completely missing out, and Private Internet Access is the one I use on all of my devices. If you've been following the news, you see that censorship, websites, apps are getting shut down in certain countries, all sorts of craziness. Well, a VPN helps you never have to worry about that. Private Internet Access also protects you from the prying eyes of hackers, internet service providers, and others that can view your personal data. Perhaps also just as importantly, Private Internet Access allows you to access region-restricted content from all over the world. Streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and more have different library options based on where you're located, and some shows simply cannot be accessed if you're not in the target location. Happens to me all the time. Many sports events also have regional blackouts. Well, VPNs can be a convenient way to make sure you're getting the content that you're paying for. Private Internet Access also allows you to protect an unlimited amount of devices all at the same time, so your entire household with a single subscription. And I've been working with Private Internet Access so long that I have an absolutely massive discount available to my viewers. Link in the description below. Get Private Internet Access today using my link. Save huge, protect your computers, access all the content that you've been paying for, and ensure that your internet is never censored. 98% of the jokes told by Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, and Saturday Night Live leading up to the election were all about President Trump. 98%. 1,428 out of 1,463 political jokes targeted Trump, according to Media Research Center. What did it accomplish in the end? The destruction of their credibility. Now, I believe, for the most part, the only people that watch these late night shows are like boomers that fell asleep with the TV on, or airports. Much in the way like CNN and all these people, they have to literally buy their viewers in places like airports and auto repair shops and things like that, because nobody willingly puts on CNN anymore, even though they do have that conservative guy on there that's constantly dunking on their woke co-host, and it's kind of funny. I still won't put it on. I'll just enjoy the clips online. Late night show hosts relentlessly made Donald Trump the focus of nearly all of their jokes before the presidential election, but failed to sway any voting, as revealed in a new study. A shocking 98% of jokes made by Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and Saturday Night Live leading up to Election Day made Trump the butt of the joke, according to the media watchdog group Media Research Center. As many as 1,428 out of 1,463 political jokes on these shows from September 3rd through October 25th were targeted at Trump. The study found that's a whopping 40-to-1 ratio, or almost 98% to 2%, the MRC analyst Alex Christie reported by Fox News. Even when late night show hosts mock the then nominee Joe Biden, they often soften the jokes with comments about Trump. In June, Seth Meyers touched on Biden's age and cognitive decline, but then made sure to note of Trump's criminal convictions. As we made clear on the show repeatedly, there's no equivalency between a competent 81-year-old who occasionally shows sign of age and a demented 77-year-old criminal who says dead people rigged the election and thinks electric boat batteries will lead to shark attacks, Meyer clarified. So that was really just a joke about Trump. In September, Kimmel brought out his wife on the show to roast Trump and tell him to shut up and go away. Here's what Colbert had to say after Kamala Harris got destroyed, by the way.
Hey there. How are you doing? If you watch the show regularly, I'm guessing you're not doing great.
So he knows that it's just a liberal shill outlet.
Yeah, me neither. You know, today, some people said to me, sorry you have to do a show tonight, which is nice of them to say, but I don't have to do a show. I get to do a show tonight. I'm so grateful to be with all of these talented people. Those people over here, those people that you'll never see, with the audience and the Ed Sullivan, with you people at home.
Nobody's at home.
Especially at times like this. What do we most want to be? Not alone. So thanks for being here. We're going to do a comedy show. It's a comedy show. We're going to do some jokes in just a minute. Because that's what we do. And
I mean, it's like I wonder if his reaction was this muted after 9/11. I mean, give me a break. I just think like, I mean, when Joe Biden got 81 million scoops of ice cream in 2020, I didn't get on my show and cry and be like, oh my God. Oh, just everything. Oh, golly gee, Willikers. I'm so glad I have you, anonymous ad consumers, to watch all my Pfizer commercials. Oh, God, jeez. Stephen Colbert doesn't care. Go to Mar-a-Lago, spend all day, every day, cheating at golf and jerking it to Newsmax, and let a competent woman take over. That's my advice. That's my advice. Thanks for listening. Moronic Jimmy Kimmel wife said. Late October, Kimmel went on a 20-minute rant against Trump, using clips from the former president's speeches, interviews, and rallies to try and illustrate several aspects why he believes Trump is unfit to lead. Am I biased against Trump? Yes, Kimmel admitted. Do I think I have good reason to be biased against him? Yes. Then, just days before the election, SNL had Harris do a 90-second appearance alongside Maya Rudolph, sparking claims that NBC was violating the FCC rule about airtime given to presidential candidates on TV. They did. Trump's hush money trial earlier the year also gave late-night hosts plenty to talk about. Colbert summarized his case as faking business records to cover up for banging a prawn star. As described, Cohen as former fixer and silly putty who isn't feeling that silly these days anymore. As far as affecting his marriage goes, according to Cohen, Trump wasn't worrying about Melania leaving him. Don't worry as long as you think I'll be out. How long do you think I'll be on the market for? Not long, Colbert quoted with a grin. Coincidentally, not long after Stormy described a Colbert joke referencing Stormy's description as alleged tape with Trump, which never happened, just like all these tapes. Daily Show's Jordan Klepper also served. I mean, it's just nonstop. Even news anchors can't report the news without turning red, Meyer said. But the liberal jokes did not sway the election in the end, as Trump won Trump won a decisive victory against Vice President Kamala Harris in November. The so-called comedians on late night shows were never going to harm Trump because their audiences are already fully stocked with Trump-hating Democrats who want their fix of Trump hate, the MRC director said. That's what we've always said. They're just pandering to their own Trump-deranged audiences. It's like there were no like middle of the road people, because you can't be middle of the road if you watch these shows. If you're middle of the road, then you're probably like, I can't stand this. It's like unhinged Trump nonstop. I want to get away from that. You know, if you're like me, you tune into comedy to escape real life and not to get a heavy dose of it and a heavy biased, deranged note of it. Colbert and Kimmel and the rest sound more like Democrat senators than people hired to make you laugh. By November 5th, the late night show hosts were left to deal with Trump's win on live TV, with Kimmel breaking into tears. Fallon jabbed that America got back together with his crazy ex, while Colbert hysterically admitted that he wasn't doing great. It was a terrible night last night, Kimmel said, before he listed the things that would be terrible under a Trump presidency. Well, frick, it happened again, Colbert said, after a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by desperate need not to go to jail. Didn't all those criminal cases fall apart on their own, by the way? Pretty sure all of that, you know, and if you go back, I told you Trump was never going to jail. Like, I told you that these cases were bull. You know, meanwhile, Myers told his audience that something in his brain broke a little bit last night. You can see I'm old enough to remember back to late night comedians were actually funny. I think that their quote comedy technique gained Trump votes. Well, yeah, because I mean, essentially, I mean, look at this guy crying.
And on late night TV, where the comics usually play things for laughs, the
not so much. Jimmy Kimmel actually choked back tears as he spoke about President-elect Trump's historic
of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for
oh my God. First of all, this guy cries on command. You mean all those hardworking immigrants? Hey, if they're hardworking immigrants, they're probably not getting deported. Let's just start with all the ones living free in hotels and free off debit cards, and we'll take the hard workers case by case. I want to keep hard workers. Okay? If they're hard workers, I think that we should give them a chance to stay here through the legal process of legal immigration. But how about we start with all these people in New York and San Francisco and all these places where taxpayers are just paying them free money to stay here and then, you know, torch people on the subway.
climate,
Oh, climate,
for
yeah.
science, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for
Oh my God, yes. Oh, not Ukraine. Definitely a war that the Democrats didn't keep running artificially. In fact, probably start, in my opinion, artificially so that they could just have that military-industrial complex go boom. I mean, give me a break. I think the best thing for Ukrainians will be a Trump presidency because he'll end the war. Not Joe Biden's hapless leadership where he's just going to continue it and continue to allow Ukraine to escalate it with long-range ballistic missiles that we sell them for pennies on the dollar. Give me an absolute break. This new report is hilarious and quite expected. And let's all just hope that by 2025, these losers are all off the air. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.